shit yourself. And then there's another thing you got to understand too. The Egyptians had the mystery schools. So everybody didn't just get the knowledge. You had to be an initiate because they knew that we was coming into the dark age. So they knew that this information was going to get used to fucking enslave us. So they only gave it to certain people. You couldn't get this side of the story if you wasn't an initiate. Everybody else was taking it on blind words, just reading what the fuck it said, thinking that it's bullshit or believing it. So when the Christians came out of Egypt, they had a mystery teachings too, which was the Gnostics. The Gnostic Christian, if you study Gnostic Christianity, that shit gives you all the breakdowns of what shit really mean. But guess who banned that? Guess who banned that? Fucking Constantine. He banned the Gnostic teachings. And not only did he ban the Gnostic teachings, he removed every part of the book, the books that connect the truth. The book of Mary got removed. Why would he remove the book of Mary? And that's fucking Jesus' mother. Why you gonna remove God mother book? Who the fuck is you? Who gave you the right to remove God's mother book if you think God is Jesus? Because in the book of Mary, it tell you that Mary mother was a virgin. Most Christians don't even know that. Mary mother was a virgin. So if Jesus is God because he was born from a virgin, that means his mother a goddess. She was born from a virgin. They removed the book of Thomas. They removed the book of Enoch. Why they removed the book of Enoch? Because the book of Enoch, this nigga talking about having out of body experiences, going into the heavens, getting information and coming back with the information. The same shit I did when I had my sun experience, when I went into the sun. Literally got all of this information, all these downloads, all of it, and came back with the information. They don't want us to know this shit. And that's why they had to remove that from the Bible. They removed 12 other books from the Bible. And then this shit, you got to understand that Constantine, when he was doing all of this shit was in 323 AD. So this shit was in, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand that Islam, Muhammad, he was born in 700 something. This nigga was born 400 years later. And that's kind of why all of the ancient Christianity, Judaism, it all got mystical aspects to it. The Jews, they don't teach us they shit, but they got the Kabbalah. And the Kabbalah connects directly to the tree of life and all of that shit. They got the truth in it. The Christians had the Coptic and the Gnostic teaching. Islam, when it came, they was already sleeping in the month. But we was so into the sleep that it started off kind of sleep. But then later, the mystery teaches because it always got to have both sides, the inside and the outside. So the inside of the the Muslims, I think is Sufi, if I'm not mistaken, because the Sunni teachings, that's basically when Muhammad died, and it got broken to two branches: the king that gave him the power, and the people that came with him. That's what created the Shiites and the Sunni Muslims. But both of them was asleep. And then after that, the Sufis came, Sufi Muslims, and they was the ones that was teaching the inner teachings. That was basically the Moors. The whole Moorish science, the Moors was Muslims. That was teaching the truth aspect of it. So all religion got an inner and outer. But if you just I flood the outside shit into you, you don't know shit. You just getting the cover. And then you just reading the cover, you ain't even open the shit. You know what I mean? But I could go on and on and on. Cause like I say, this shit that I studied when I was incarcerated, this shit that I got downloads, I had questions about this type shit, and it came to me. It came to me. And I went down that rabbit hole so motherfucking deep. You know what I mean? So I could really go into every religion, how they started, da da da, what it came from. That shit, that I got that shit in me. That shit is in me. All of that shit is to lead us outside of ourselves, unless you're practicing the inner teachings. And I want to give y'all this. I'm gonna give y'all this, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna get into some hypnosis. Right? I'm gonna give y'all this about um the part of Christianity, the whole thing is based on Jesus dying and then being reborn and all of that man, that story, when you really read it from the Gnostic aspect, it's actually about awakening. All of that shit was fucking metaphor. But I'm gonna break that metaphor and then I'm gonna get off religion because I could stay on religion and this shit ain't about just no religion. But so anybody that's in this live that went through an awakening, you know that awakening starts by life fucking you up. Like, cause we be so comfortable in our sleep state, just going to work, coming home, paying bills, getting some pussy, getting drunk, smoking a little bit, go to work, and you be so stuck in that cycle, something gotta like slap your ass out of it. Rather than when you had to go to prison, rather you lost of somebody that you loved dearly, rather you lost your own mind, right? But it's always a traumatic, something traumatic that gotta shake your motherfucking soul, and you gotta start questioning and looking within. Like, man, what the fuck am I doing? And once you start asking those questions, what am I doing wrong? That's when you're in the right direction. But when you blaming everything, that's when you're always gonna stay asleep. And that's why Christians, they blame everything on the devil, so they never could take responsibility for their unconsciousness. That was designed, you know what I mean, for them to stay asleep. Long as they got that motherfucker devil to blame, they never gonna look at themselves and say, what the fuck do I gotta change? And if you ain't looking in, you can't change nothing. Because all change gotta happen from within. So I'm gonna break down the awakening, the Jesus on the cross, how it was put from the Gnostic standpoint. So first thing you got to understand, a cross is a cruciform. If you look up a cruciform, like what is a cruciform? A cruciform is literally a template of a box. That's how simple this shit is. The shit is really talking about a box. That's why they say you got to think outside the fucking box. But a box is the masculine thing. The box is always masculine because it deals with corners and angles. That's why all of the angels, it's they last name start with L. Michael L. Something else L. Raphael. This here L. Because all of those was a part of the masculine part of the God, which was the Elohim. That's why even the word angel has L at the end. Because it's only just talking about a perception. Because a perception got to come from the mind. The mind is a masculine thing. So I explained that because the corners is an angle. It's an angel. It's a perception. You know what I mean? Once you cut that corner, you could say this is 90 degrees. That's an angle that you could look at it from. You could perceive it from that angle. A box have all straight lines. That's the masculine. A feminine is the circle. That's why females are curvy. That's why the heart deals with cycles. The mind want to compartmentalize every motherfucking thing. That's the masculine thing. So basically, a cross is a template of a box. Basically, it's you being put into a fucking body, right? That's what it represented. Because him being nailed to the cross is your soul being put into this physical box, this masculine box. Everybody's body is masculine, rather you're a female or a male. They changed that too. If you look up the ancient Egyptian religion, you'll see that the sky was feminine and that the male Geb laying on the motherfucking ground, he represented physical. They switched that and they tried to make it Mother Nature and all of that shit, and the sky became God. Nah, that's bullshit. Ain't no motherfucking man creative. But back to understanding that the box, that's all he was talking about. So if you take a cross and you fold that motherfucker up, you could fold that bitch right into a perfect box because it represents the template of a box, right? So the box is the thing that holds the soul in. The soul is spirit. It's circular. It can't be contained. It can't be put on something and grounded. You could put a box down and you could control the fucking box, but you can't control no circle. You can't control spirit, right? So that's what it represented first. Let's start there. So then, after you're put in a box, after you're put in a physical body, now you got to be waking up. I got to wake you up so you can open that motherfucker box and let the spirit out. So this is where he was being stoned. So look, stone represented physical reality. So basically, he's being fucked up by reality. And you'll think, like, why would stone represent physical reality? Because everything comes from stone. There's nothing in your physical reality that didn't start off as a rock. Look around you right now, and you can't see not one thing that didn't come from a motherfucking rock. So let's break that down real simple. If you look at a tree, where do a tree come from? Come from dirt. What is dirt? A crushed up motherfucking rock. So that means we're going to just say everything that grows out of the dirt, that grows out of a tree, came from a rock. Where do rubber come from? It comes from the tree sap, so it comes from a rock. Where do glass come from? It comes from quartz crystals. It comes from a rock. Where do metals come from? It comes from a rock. It's not where cotton come from. It grows out of the tree. It comes from a rock. Everything comes from a rock. That's why I wear rocks. I'm not tripping. I know that this is crystallized mind, right? Our ancestors knew that too. So that's why they basically being stoned is being hit by life, right? That's the first part of your awakening. This whole shit is talking about awakening. It's not talking about God dying and coming back. It's talking about you dying and coming back. This is what a rebirth is. You got to be reborn first in order to make it into the heavenly. Oh, this is what it's really talking about. So the second stage of an awakening is when you stop blaming the outside. If you still blaming liars for lying to you and you mad, motherfucker lied to me, you're like, yo, bro, that's a liar that lied to you. That's a yeller that yelled at you. Like, why you bent out of shape? Like a yeller just yelled. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? He don't even know he yelling. That's an unconscious program. This person don't know they cheating. They don't know they lying. They can't see they self. You could see yourself though. That's the second part of you taking responsibility and stop blaming people outside of you. There's no way that you can have a full awakening while you still blaming the world. And in the Bible, this is what it sounds like in the Bible. Forgive them, they know not what they do. So as he's getting stoned, he said, forgive them. They know not what they do. That's all he's saying is you cannot blame them for their unconsciousness. That's it. That's what it means, period. That's the second part of awakening. The third part of awakening is after you realize that the outside shit don't got control over you, then you come to the realization that I control my own life. I shape my own life. The energy that I put out comes back to me. So because of the energy I put out comes back to me, I'm doing this to myself. In the Bible, what do that sound like? That's when God or Jesus said, why have thou forsaken me? And you like, I thought you was supposed to be down for our sins. What the fuck you talking about somebody crossed you? The fuck you mean? How the fuck is somebody crossed you? And if you God in flesh, who crossed you? All he's saying is, why am I doing this to myself? And when you realize that everything that's happening in your life is of your doing, that's what makes you a God. You take responsibility for your power. That's what wakes you up out of the fucking sleep state. And then after that, you die. The old you die. The program you die. The ego dies. And you be born again as spirit, as the person that has the power. And this is the thing. When you born again, like Jesus did after he rose the third day, the three parts of awakening, and anybody that went through awakening know they went through these three steps. This is universal law of going through awakening. So when you wake up and you realize who you are, they said that Jesus was around his disciples and they didn't know who he was. And I'm like, what the fuck? He was only in the dirt for 3 days. Like, what, did the worms eat him up and he came out that bitch like a Michael Jackson move? Like, how they ain't know who he was? What the fuck is going on? And I'm sure he was talking to them like, oh, that's Jesus. How they didn't know who he was? And all of that is just a metaphor that when you have an awakening, the people that you used to be around, They gonna be like, I don't know what the fuck happened or not. They can't recognize you. And when I had my awakening, motherfuckers couldn't recognize me. They was saying I went crazy. And I lost his motherfucking mind. That motherfucker, I don't know what the fuck he been eating shrooms or something. I don't know what the fuck. He must have slipped a Mickey. Or they was thinking they couldn't recognize me because I wasn't the person I used to be. That's literally what this shit talking about. And only the Gnostic teachings would teach you this. You ain't gonna learn this in the fucking church because they trying to rock you to sleep. Put your money in the offering. Like, all this money we've been giving, your motherfucker ain't create no program so we could get some money? Fuck is going on? But that shit, that's what all of that shit was talking about. It was talking about you. You gotta wake up. You gotta save yourself. The savior that you waiting for is you. Your consciousness. Because only your consciousness could wake you up out of your sleep unconscious patterns and habits and cycles. You got to see yourself so you can stop blaming the outside. Nobody else could do that but you. You got to take responsibility and say, why am I doing this to myself? Everything that's happening in your life is you doing it to yourself. So if you could say when you manifest, oh, I just manifested a car. Yeah, I got my new car. But then when some bullshit happened, you want to blame the devil. You want to go back to religion. Nah, you created that too. You just was consciously creating the car and you was unconsciously creating that bullshit. And this is how we unconsciously create bullshit for the people that might not be able to see it as I'm saying it. Something happened to you, right? Something actually really happened to you. Somebody did you dirty. After you got done dirty, you got to understand a cycle works like this. It's a circle. First is spirit. Then it's mental. Then it's emotional. Emotional is at the bottom. It's what grounds the circle. And then it's physical. So about time it happened to you, it already went through the whole entire cycle. The last thing that happened is it being physical. Let's put that out there. So anything that bad that ever happened to you, it was the end of it when it happened to you. It ain't just happened because you just experienced it. It already went through the fucking cycle and it happened. It materialized. And your body would say, no, we should be mad. They look what happened to me, da da da. And it's like, yo, if you mad, if you're in this negative energy, if you giving out all of this bullshit, if you blaming the outside, guess what? That's not gonna undo it. That's not gonna make it unhappen. So if it happened already, it ended, right? I'm gonna put that out first. So understanding that principle that cycles keep happening because when it happened, you taking it as the beginning instead of the ending, and you putting out all of this negative energy. That negative energy is what creates the other cycle. So you're doing it to yourself, rather you're consciously aware of it or not. So that's your doing. And this is what we do. A situation that happened. Somebody did you wrong, whatever, whatever. You lost your job, this and that motherfucker got you fired, whatever happened. And then you feel all of these emotions, negative emotions. Oh, damn, man. I fucking loved it, that job. That's you putting out a whole bunch of negative that got to double back on you. That's you. Rather you consciously aware of it or not, that's you creating some bullshit. And then when you finally get over it a little bit and you like, ah, I got to talk to somebody. Then you call your sister. Hey, sis, why the fuck that bitch that I was working with got me fired? You go through all of the emotions over again. As you explain it to your sister, putting out more negative energy. And then you hang up with your sister. Then you call your fucking mother. And then yeah, ma, I fucking lost my job. And every person that asks you how you doing, I don't feel like shit, man. I fucking lost my job. And you put out more. Is that not you creating a bunch of negative in your fucking life? Because let's look at what creates. Mental, meaning you seeing this shit. Emotional, meaning you feeling this shit. So when you trying to manifest your car, what they telling you? All you got to do is see your car in your mind. and you want to vibrate and feel like you already got the car, and you got to put out the emotions. That's how you manifest. So what do you think you doing when you telling that story? You manifesting in reverse. You manifesting negative, but you won't call that manifestation. And then when it show up in your life, you be like, "Well, me, I was thinking, I was being so positive." Like, nigga, please. And you got to understand that cycles that we put out, we done put so many negative cycles out that them shits got to spin back. So because you've been positive for 1 week, that ain't going to remove all of the negative you done put the fuck out. So it's about you being in the present moment. So when the negative come into your life, when the situations happen, when your bank account get overdraft by mistake, when this, you got to just, everything good. Put out positive even when negative is there. And if you just keep doing that over and over and over, guess what's going to happen one day? It ain't going to be no more motherfucking negative that's going to double back on you. And then the good that you putting out going to start double backing on you. Your life going to start changing. You're going to start seeing, reaping the benefits of what you putting out. This is divine law. The sun showed me this. And if you could go on the episode when I was basically talking to the sun, that was the first thing I asked the sun. I was like, yo, reveal yourself. And it was like, nigga, you don't even know yourself. You talking about reveal me. And I'm like, I took that shit defensively. Like, man, I've been meditating, I've been doing this, I've been doing. And it basically like showed me through my emotions. Like it kicked me back out the sun, and then basically blocked the sun with a truck. And I'm all, damn, this dumbass truck. And then it basically wants the truck, it backed the truck up and then pulled me back onto the sun and told me, like, look, you don't even know who the fuck you are. You don't even know your powers. And you talking about reveal yourself. You want to know the great powers when you don't even know the little powers. And I'm sitting there like, and it basically gave me a download to showing me how cycles work. And I'm like, damn, all this meditating, spiritual doing and tuning and fasting, I ain't even fucking know who the fuck I was. Still, after years of reading and all of that, I still ain't know who I was until I had that experience and it showed me. You know what I mean? So this is what this shit is about, knowing who you are, connecting to who you are. So first thing first, do anybody got any questions about anything I spoke about so far? And if not, we could just move right into the hypnosis practice. And hypnosis is literally just getting in touch with the subconscious. That's it. I know methods to connect to the subconscious, the divine feminine. That's it. It ain't no magic, it ain't no voodoo, or none of that shit. So I'm gonna break down all three of them without going into no deep ass depth, but a depth. So first you gotta understand you got the conscious mind. The conscious mind is a masculine energy. It's a director. It deals with light. It's electrical. That's some of the things that the the masculine mind is. But the main thing is it's it's the thinking mind. It's the part that analyzes. It's the part that compartmentalizes. It's the part that allow you to be in the conscious present moment right now. So the conscious mind is literally what we experience outside life through. You may think that you see through your eyes and hear through your ears and smell through your nose and feel through your body, but you don't. You actually experience all that through the conscious. If I touch your leg, you only can feel it because of your conscious. And example of that is if you paralyzed, could you feel if I touch your leg? No. Why you can't feel if I touch your leg if you paralyzed? Because of the conscious mind is disconnected from it. So when I touch you, you thinking that you feel it in your leg, but it's a signal getting sent so fast to your brain that you feel it through your third eye. That's why they call it the all-seeing eye. So if you paralyzed, you hurt your back. Now you can't feel your leg because the back, the spinal system is what connects the leg to the mind, to the third eye. So once it's disconnected from the third eye, there's no experience. All experience is through the third eye, the all-seeing eye. Now I'm gonna break it down with hearing. Imagine you in a restaurant and you on a date. It's mad people, they on their dates too. And you know, the person you in front of that you talking to, you only could hear them. You can't hear nobody else conversation because your consciousness is on them. But the minute you date, you be like, oh baby, hold on, real fast. Listen to what the fuck she's saying right there. And the lady next to you could be talking about some freaky shit. And then now you can hear the lady next to you. But you could hear the lady next to you the whole time. It's just that your consciousness wasn't on her, so you didn't hear her until you put your consciousness on her. So you actually hear with your consciousness and not with your ear, the all-seeing eye. Same thing with seeing. We could be in the car, we could be driving, and I could be like, yo, you saw that big ass sign with the cow on it? And now you like, nah, bro, I missed it. I wasn't even paying attention. Your consciousness wasn't on it. And even though you looking through the fucking window, the same window I'm looking through, if your consciousness is not there, you're not there. That's the consciousness. Another one, this is the last one I'm gonna give. You could be fucking talking to somebody on the phone, literally on the phone to your ear, and your consciousness could drift off into a thought. And they talking, hey, you hear me? And you like, nah, I ain't hear you. Repeat what you said. And it's like, how you didn't hear me and you got the phone to your ear? Well, how you didn't hear me and I'm right in your motherfucking face? Like, yo, nah, my mind was somewhere else. No, your consciousness was somewhere else. So our consciousness is what allow us to be in the present, to be here, right? But it's also the part that analyzes shit, right? So that's the conscious mind. Hope you understand that, because that's the most you're gonna get. So now the subconscious mind is the part that actually creates cycles, creates habits, creates um creates. It creates everything. So for instance, when you was a little kid, when you first learned how to walk, you literally had to be there in the present moment. You had to be in your conscious mind. And you had to be like, damn, I gotta take a step. You wiggling a little bit, you like, all right, another step. You take another step, and now oh, I'm walking. Yeah, he walking. And then you practice that shit every day. The conscious mind, it connects to patterns, habits, shit that it see over and over. If you do something over and over consciously, the subconscious will see pattern and they say, oh, a pattern right there, and then make a program out of the pattern. So everything that we experience is because of the patterns that was made from the subconscious. The subconscious is what creates our habits. It's what creates cycles within us. So it's the creative aspect of things. It's allow us, instead of just having a thought now you just became the thought. Because you had that thought so many times that the heart gave it life. You get what I'm saying? Our beliefs is in our subconscious. If I was to tell you, let's say you look gooder than a motherfucker, you know you look good. You've been told you look good your whole motherfucking life. And then I call you ugly. You're gonna laugh. It's not gonna bother you. You're gonna be like, get the fuck out of here, because your heart don't believe it. And because your heart don't believe it, it don't have no emotional reaction to it. But you could be pretty as hell, but when you was young, you wasn't that pretty when you was young. You had to grow into your prettiness. So you was called ugly before, and you kind of believed you was ugly. Now you pretty as hell, and I call you ugly, it triggers you. And you like, the fuck you calling ugly? Motherfucker, your mother ugly. And da, 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 da. It's because you felt what I said. Only the subconscious could do that. It create programs out of shit. It's where your beliefs set. So your whole reality is governed by this, because what you believe is true for you. If you believe niggas ain't shit, it's a good chance you're gonna attract all niggas that ain't shit. If you believe money is hard to come by, you could have a fucking opportunity to make millions of dollars and you'll call it a fucking scam. So your belief is what runs everything. That's what the subconscious is. And the subconscious is the trance state. Nothing could come from the mind and could go into the body without going through the heart. Because the mind is waves. It's only frequencies, it's waves. But the heart gotta wrap that wave up in a body in the cycle, and then it becomes a particle. Now it's a living thing in you that your body could go and access. That's why the heart is the creator. It's the creative aspect of the thing. That's the subconscious, right? So now the unconscious is, once a program is programmed, it get pushed into the physical body to be stored. That's the unconscious. So the unconscious is all programs from the past. And all of these programs from the past makes up a version of you that you believe yourself to be. You're not the experience you went through. You the person that experienced the experience that you went through. But we start to believe that we are the experience because of the beliefs we got stored, the memories we got stored, the this we got stored, and all of this shit we got stored in the unconscious. We forget that we not it, and we become it because we don't know that. And that's why the ego is called the false self. It's not truly who you are. It's just the programs that made up who you were at the time. So when I was a gangbanger and I was not blood and it was certain shit how I moved. I couldn't see myself. That was unconscious programming. I done programmed so much bullshit from living in the projects, seeing people get shot, seeing people get killed, seeing drug dealers, that I became an aspect of all of the shit that I seen and experienced. And I acted off what I became. I wasn't, you couldn't, when I was not blood and I was in this shit, you couldn't tell me like, oh nah, them just programs in you. I'm like, nigga, suck my dick. Nigga, this is who I am. Nigga, I'll fuck you up. Like, but it was actually real program. It was just programs. But I believed myself to be those programs. That's what made it the ego. The ego is the false you. So most people are governed by their ego. I'm not going to tell this story, but I'll just bring it up. 2 months ago, I couldn't come on live because I had a program in my unconscious that would make me fucking have a nervous breakdown every time I try to come on not live. And that program was connected to some old shit that happened in the 6th grade. A teacher forced me to read. I had a panic attack, and my body recorded that as a threat. So now, anytime I'm put on blast or, you know, an audience there or anything that looked like anything close to what that class situation was, I automatically have a physical reaction to it. My body and my nerves start to fucking wild out because it think danger. And because I'm quote unquote think I'm in danger, it put me in fight or flight mode, which means I'm about to fuck something up or I'm about to haul ass. And that's the reason why I would come on live and my nerve system start going crazy and all of this knowledge that I got, it disappear. I have no access to it. And the reason I have no access to it is because my body is in fight or flight. All of the blood is being pushed to my hands and my feet. Because to my body, nigga, you in danger. It's not the time to be thinking. And that's why I can't remember my knowledge. And when I was in the streets, I used to be a rapper. I get on stage and I can't remember my rap that I've been rapping all fucking year because of this program that was programmed in me in the 6th grade. But it works underneath the surface. That's why the shit's called shadow work. It follow you everywhere you go, but you can't see the shit because it's in the shadows. So that's your unconscious. That's your unconscious programming. We all got unconscious programming that we're dealing with that we need to fucking bring the fuck out. So with dealing with hypnosis, I put the conscious mind to sleep. I put the unconscious body to sleep. And I'm talking directly to the power. So when somebody is in a trance state, when they're in hypnosis, trans means transition, transform, um, all the trans words. It's just basically meaning move from one state to another. Even if you take transit bus, like you're moving from one place to another. So the heart is the only thing that could change something. It's the only thing that could transform anything. So during hypnosis, basically I'm putting you into a trance. A trance means you're not in the body, you're not in the mind. You're in the subconscious mean you just in the middle. I ain't on neither side. That's the only part of us that's receptive. But most people hearts is so covered and closed from the traumas. I ain't trusting my fuckers, and You build this wall around your heart and you thinking that you protecting your heart, but you actually, the wall that you built is keeping all of the the negative cycles that you got already in there, and it's not allowing nothing new to come in there. And this is why when we be praying, God, please, da da da, that's with your mind. That's you giving a signal out. That's what masculine does. It's electrical. It gives out. And you like, God, please, da da da. But after you give the signal out, you don't meditate and go into a trance state so you can receive. And this is why God don't talk back to motherfuckers. But when I talk to God, I get answers back because I know how to talk to God. You have to go into a trance. And when people meditating, what do you do? Transcendental meditation. What the fuck is that? That's meditation that takes you into a trance state. So when you meditate, all you're trying to do is put yourself into a trance. But I hope that answered your question. And that definitely answered your question. That really broke down a lot of like what hypnosis is. And the thing is, a lot of people got cycles that's in them, that's in their body that they can't even fucking see. It's no way in hell you gonna tell me that I would have believed that when I couldn't rap on the stage and I'm forgetting my fucking words, that shit connect back to the 6th grade. Nobody could have made that connection for me. Like, it was impossible. And then I was going to a temple called the Temple of Anu, a whole bunch of fucking lovely people that got good hearts that, and I go in the front and that would happen. Like, I have a panic attack in front of all these good people that's saying, take your time, sweetie. And it's like, yo, how was you panicking in front of them? And then it didn't make sense to me because, I was a street person. I'm a gangbang. I don't give a fuck about y'all. Not about them, but I don't give a fuck about what nobody think. You could think whatever you want to think. Fuck you. You don't pay my bills anyway. I had that type of emotion. So it's like, how am I that person? And I'm scared to go to on live. Like, that shit ain't make no sense to me. And that's because I was dealing with a program I could not see. That's all that shit is about. So hypnosis is really just being able to put yourself in a trance state. You could do that through meditation, which is self-hypnosis. Or when I hypnotize people, I know ways to put you into a trance state. And because of your mind is blocking out, your mind is designed to keep you the same. And that's a good thing because if it wasn't designed to keep you the same, anything could just come into your subconscious and anything could influence you and you'll just be done the fuck up. You'll be just super influenced by everything. You'll lose your mind. So your mind keeps you the same to protect you. But it's not good if you want to change. Like, nigga, mind, I'm trying to change. What are you still blocking the change? And that's what hypnosis coming at. You might not know how to change you. You might not know how to go into your inner self and remove those programs that's in you. But when I put you to sleep, when I put you into a trance state and I say, I want you to go back to the time when you was a kid. And I want you to see the energy that's affecting you right now the most. And I want that to come to your brain right now. I want you to see that in your mind. When you in the trance state, that shit'll come right up. Boop, and you'll see it. And I'll be like, tell me about it. Tell me about what you see. And you like, yo, I see, that when I got molested or whatever that like it be people seeing shit that they blocked out, like memories they don't even know there. That's affecting their relationship, affecting the relationship with their kids, affecting every fucking thing in their life, affecting how they see people. And then they're basically now while you're in this trance state, I see this emotion, they probably start crying and that. And then I tell them like, now I want you to see this ball of light in your heart, and da 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 da. And now you're gonna see that those memories and the emotions that's connected to those memories is gonna dissolve into this ball of light. And you're gonna feel it being released up out of you, because of you got no conscious mind to say no it's not, and you don't got no fucking unconscious body to be like, nah, we holding on to the past. You feel it, you let it go. And this how with entertainment hypnosis, they hypnotize you and tell you, oh, when you wake up you're gonna be a dog and you're gonna believe you're a dog, and the motherfucker on stage. Like, how the fuck could I get you to do that? Because of the analytical thinking mind was put to sleep. The same way the analytical mind is put to sleep when you watching TV. That's why you yelling at the TV. That's why you crying over fucking actors that's acting. Oh, I fucking died. Like nigga, you met that nigga during this movie, and he acting, and you really crying. That's hypnosis. So hypnosis is literally just about tapping into the subconscious, the only power that is. And while you're in that space, you can remove any fucking thing out of you. Um, I hope that made sense to everybody. This is what I'm gonna say before I leave, right? Um, I definitely I'm for the people. You know what I mean? So if somebody want a session and your funds ain't all the way there, I work with people. I even do a payment plan and motherfucker, if you don't pay me, it is on you type shit. Cause it healing people means more to me than the money. I love people more than I love money. So if you're trying to book a session, you know you're trying to get the work, inbox me, talk to me. You know what I mean? I'ma work with you. But don't bullshit me if you bullshitting yourself. You get what I'm saying? If you could spend a couple $100s on some motherfucking sneakers or on a bag or on a coat, you could spend a couple $100s on healing yourself. You know what I mean? So, but I definitely work with people. Just talk to me. I'm gonna work with you, inbox me, and I help people.